We all love it when we get heaps of followers and suddenly everything's happening and exciting. It feels like your business is just buzzing. But what actually matters when it comes to brand growth? I one time had a reel that went completely viral. It just ranked up the views really fast and was getting in front of a lot of people. But the thing that I noticed is the people that were liking it were not my ideal audience, and the comments people were leaving, it just showed they had absolutely no interest in my brand. They were just commenting on this random video, and it wasn't doing anything for building my brand up. Sure, it was getting some more eyeballs on something that I had produced, but it wasn't building my brand or growing my brand in any way at all. And so that's why it's really important to focus on what really matters when it comes to brand growth. If you're simply chasing virality and trying to get in front of more and more people, you're probably chasing the wrong thing. If you want to try and grow your audience, you need to be doing it in a more strategic way to make sure you're actually attracting the right kind of people. And not only attracting them, but also connecting with them, building a relationship with these people. So you want to make sure that everything your brand puts out there, the way your brand looks, everything about your brand and what it produces and what it's putting out into the world is going to be aimed at and attracting the people you actually want to be attracted to your brand. The people that you are actually creating offers and things for. They're the people that are actually going to make your business a business and be buying from you, not just getting you more views or, growing your audience full of random people. This means it's so important to be really crystal clear about who those people are, who exactly are you trying to attract, and then every time you put anything out there, whether it's your brand identity itself or the content you're putting out, the way you use your brand voice, anything that you're putting out into the world, is that designed to actually attract those people? Another thing you should also be careful with when it comes to this is if you're just talking about your business and your industry a lot, you could accidentally end up attracting people that are just fellow peers in your industry. And while it's natural you will attract some of those people because they'll be inspired by you and they'll want to connect with you and network with you, you want to make sure that you're not just putting out stuff that is just going to attract those people, because they're not the ones that are going to be buying from you. While they might be your big supporters, you might be able to network with them and you'll have a bit of community, you don't just want to be attracting those people. So be careful that you might occasionally put out things for them to help build your community, but make sure that your main focus is on those people that could be potential buyers. Now the next thing for sustainable brand growth is actually putting out content that makes an impact, not just putting out fluff that's just for the sake of it, just so that you're constantly putting stuff out there, but is the things you're putting out there actually impacting people, in some sort of way? It doesn't have to be a huge way, but it could be that it just inspires them or motivates them, it educates them. How are you actually making a difference? How are you actually putting things out into the world that are helping people and not just being more noise? This is the problem with trying to chase something that is just for entertainment's sake. Because if you're just doing something that's entertaining, while it might get some laughs and some people might be like, oh, that's really funny, and you might get a bit of connection there. If you're only ever doing that sort of stuff, then you're not actually bringing any value to people. So it might be alright to occasionally do something that's just funny, just for the fun of it, to give your audience a laugh and be relatable. Be careful not to make that the only thing you're doing, and be sure that you're actually providing value to people in some way, whether it's inspiring, motivating, or educating them in some way. So yes, entertainment can be a bit of fun, and it can create that relatability and help you connect with your audience. Just make sure that that's not the only thing you're providing people with. Now, probably one of the most important things when it comes to long-term sustainable growth is actually making real sales, not just growing that follower account. So not just attracting more and more people, ranking up how many people follow you, but how are you actually going to sell to people? So this means you do occasionally need to be selling, or you need to be sending people somewhere that sends them down that sales journey. And you're not just, piling up the follows, not really caring who's following you as long as that number's going up and up, but making sure you're attracting those right people and you're warming them up and then selling them to them so that your business can actually make sales. Because at the end of the day, what is the point of your brand if you aren't actually able to sell anything? Because it's not sustainable then, and it's not worth it for the long term. So you need to be sure that you've got some sort of system where, you know, you're warming people up. You're not constantly selling to them, but, you know, you're providing them value, getting them interested in your brand, attracting those right people, and then when the time comes, selling to them, or giving them little hints or things that starts to send them on the sales journey, or telling them where to go if they are interested in buying things from you. If you're attracting people that will never ever be interested in buying anything from you, you know, even if they don't want to buy something straight away, maybe they need to save up, they haven't got the funds for it yet, or maybe it just isn't the right timing for them, that's fine. You can, you know, keep them in your audience, keep talking to them, keep establishing, you know, that connection with them and growing a relationship with them. Similarly, you also want to be having meaningful interactions. So you don't want to be having just these interactions where people just leave random emojis or some sort of spammy comment, or they're just commenting to try and get you to look at their account, or, you know, things like that. You want to be building real meaningful relationships with your audience. So you want to be putting out content that gets them thinking, helps them, starts the conversation, so that, you know, they can then talk back to you and you can help them out. You can start really building a relationship up. Those meaningful interactions are just so important to your brand growth, because that's where the magic really happens. That's where you find people you can collaborate with. That's where you can have opportunities come up. That's where you can really make deeper connections with potential buyers. So this is really important when it comes to long-term sustainable brand growth. It's also important for brand growth to be growing in a sustainable manner. And by this I mean that you're growing in a way that you can actually sustain. So that could be that if you have to knock out 10 different things a day just to be able to grow your brand, well, that's probably not sustainable. So you've got to think about a way that you can stay consistent in a way that you can sustain, something that you can keep up with. And also staying true to your brand. So not doing things because you think, oh, if I do that, that's going to get me heaps of followers right now, and, you know, that's going to make me just grow and stuff, but it's not really true to your brand. Then, you know, that's not sustainable to your brand either, because you can't keep doing that. You can't keep letting go of your brand values, the things that's important to your brand, just for the sake of growth. So it's important to stay true to those things and do what's actually going to work for your brand, even if that means that you have to grow a little bit slower, because you're building up a really strong brand. You've got a strong identity. People know what you're about, and you're going to be attracting the people that really matter to your brand. You're not just going to be attracting these random people that aren't really interested in your brand, but you've got people that are like, I absolutely love this brand because I know exactly what they're about. I trust them. They're always consistent, and, you know, they stay true to what they say. And by doing that, you're creating that loyalty and trust, which is really important for long-term growth. Now, one of the things that you can use to grow your brand in a healthy, sustainable way is graphics. What I love about using graphics for growth is that you can batch create them, you can use templates where you can, you know, not be spending ages starting from scratch, but you can keep it on brand, you can produce lots of content, and you can make sure that it all aligns with your brand, that it's attracting those right people, and you can repurpose it too. You can put it on lots of different platforms, and you're not having to perform or get on a camera, but you can just create these graphics, things that are really going to etch in your brand identity, because you keep putting that brand identity in front of people, they keep seeing it, and it's going to start to become more memorable and recognizable. So I really think graphics are an amazing tool for growth, and here's some ways that you can use them. You can promote content. You can share graphics that promote your long form content, such as blog posts, videos, podcasts, and increase traffic to it. You can provide more value and form a deeper bond with your followers. You can also create graphics that share your expertise, things like carousel graphics to share your knowledge and help your audience. Think of it a bit like a visual blog post. Use graphics to bring it to life. Also create graphics to provide value and insight. Things like a simple quote graphic or an infographic, something that can help shift your audience's mindset, things like that, or inspire or motivate them. You can also create shareable content to gain more reach. So graphics that your audience will want to share with others so that you can then get in front of their audiences. You can also create graphics that share your values or take a stand on things that matter to your brand, so you can really establish those values and make it really clear to your audience, and also start conversations about it as well. You can create graphics that promote your opt-ins or offers, so you can either start that sales journey or you can directly sell to people using graphics, and you can make what you're offering feel more tangible because you're using a graphic and you're using visuals to really bring it to life and make it feel tangible and exciting. You can create graphics to give your audience a laugh and relate to them. So as I said before, you can have those little bits of entertainment where you have a bit of fun, make yourself relatable, just to show that you have a bit of a human side and it doesn't all have to be serious business. So as you start working on more content for your brand and start putting more things out there, consider, do you have the right goals when it comes to growing your brand? Are you trying to create that sustainable long-term growth, or are you just trying to chase something that's going to give you that instant hit and make you feel like, oh, I've got all these new followers, but they're not actually the right kind of followers? So I hope you enjoyed this video and it got you really thinking about what you're putting out there and how you can be creating things that are really going to establish your brand for the long term. And of course, if you want to learn more about graphic design, branding and creativity, then be sure to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you next time.